older Halloween costumes were actually highly flammable. They were made with a lot of flammable materials, and that's actually crazy to hear. These issues were particularly prevalent in the mid 20th century. A lot of costumes are often constructed from cheap synthetic fabrics that could ignite easily from sources like jack o' lanterns, candles, and even static electricity. That's actually crazy to hear. That actually is wild. They were made from materials like rayon and acetate, and they were so highly flammable. I remember some old costumes I had where I was like, "Oh, there's no way this is safe." I was dressed as Batman, and I was like, "There's no way this is safe." I feel like I was being put in a dang chamber, man. Like some of those old costumes that they would sell, like at Walmart. I'd go hit that Walmart for those costumes back in the day. You know, I would dress good. I dressed real good for Halloween. I get wild. Batman. I had the Hulk, Incredible Hulk. What y'all know about the Incredible Hulk, baby? First movie. I was a big fan of that movie. But yeah, costumes back then, you don't know what was gonna happen. That's why in that one Michael Myers movie, when when the cop car thought they saw Michael Myers rammed into him, and it was just a kid in a costume. That kid started catching on fire, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it was all about. You could stand on top of a tree, and I don't know. But yeah, those fires were wild back then, man. Costumes, everything was wild. Everything was crazy. I didn't know what was gonna happen. So you're telling me I could have been dressed as Batman, got on top of a, you know, I could have been dressed as Batman, stepped on a candle, and it would have been game over for me. Is what you're trying to say? Flammable costumes, bro. That's wild. That's wild. That you know, a lot of people didn't check things back then. A lot of things did not check things. A lot of people just let things go. Things got crazy. I don't know when they made the switch though. I don't know. I haven't worn a costume in a while. Actually, you know what? That's not true. I dressed as a Terminator for a few years. There was a few years in high school that I dressed as a Terminator, and I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked so cool. I remember that. And there was this girl I was trying to impress, and I remember I took a little photo of myself. Boom, posted it on my Instagram story, dressed as the Terminator. I'm gonna put this photo up for y'all right now. Don't judge me too hard, baby. Don't laugh at me too hard. But yeah, and man, that was that was a good one. That girl ended up not going with me. Uh, I don't think I made it. I don't think I was a finalist either. I think I made it pretty far in the competition, but you know, I didn't make the finals. I don't think I made the semifinals. I don't think I was a fan favorite, but yeah, I didn't. You know, Me and that girl, we never became anything. I like to think it was one of those things that it was more of a one sided. Maybe every now and then she would call me cute. Every now and then I get something like that, but that's all I really got from that girl. Just she would call me cute like once every 3 months, and that was my motivation to keep going. Pursue a little bit harder. But yeah, no, shout out to her. I'm not gonna say her name, but shout out to her.